Well, hi everyone, I'm Judy Elliott and welcome to Lifestyles for Women. Coming up today on Lifestyles, we'll be on site at Hamilton Medical Center. We'll be talking about the many services provided from Hamilton Home Health. In addition, we're going to be showing you the 3 newest members of Hamilton Medical Center team, 3 germ zapping robots. We'll be right back with you in just a moment. Well, hi everyone, I'm Judy Elliott and welcome again to Lifestyles for Women. Sometimes patients have to receive health care from their homes, and today we're going to be talking about the services of Hamilton Health Care. And with me today is Amy Carpenter, and Amy is the RN case manager for Hamilton Home Health. And thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit, a lot of people, we hear about home health, but sometimes we really don't understand what it is. Tell me a little bit about, first of all, the services that Hamilton Home Health offers patients.
We offer nurses to go into the patient's home to provide whatever skill the doctor orders. We also provide home physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy.
Okay. Now, some people would also ask, who qualifies? How do you qualify? Is this for an illness? Is it for an injury? What qualifies, and what sort of things do home health come out to help you with as far as what qualifies you first?
We can pretty much provide any service in the home that's provided in the hospital. A patient, it has to be taxing or difficult for the patient to get to and from the doctor's office. That pretty much defines their homebound status. And also insurance, if insurance will pay for services at home. We do wound care, IV antibiotic therapy, Foley catheters, medication injections. We do a lot of teaching also,
Sure.
disease, education, medication teaching.
Right. Now this can be due to an illness or an injury?
Either one. We also have workman's comp patients that we see.
okay.
So,
all right. So it's not a service that's just for senior citizens. It can be for anyone that would qualify, right?
and we see babies for
Really?
if they come home with jaundice. We can do the heel sticks in the home. We do that. We've had teenagers and adults.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, is this something that, as far as educating the patient, I guess it also you educate the family as well while you're doing this in the process?
The point of home health is to get patients back to an independent way of life. So we have to teach the patient and the caregiver, if they have one, how to better manage their disease and their medications so that they can be discharged from home health.
Right. And so I suppose you gradually see the patients get back to their regular form of living.
That is our goal.
Yeah, definitely so. What about the routine of seeing the patient? Is it every day? Is it how do you determine the schedule for the patient?
It depends on what's wrong with them. We typically don't see a patient every day. We like to teach a caregiver if they have to be seen every day, like for wound care. We like to teach a caregiver how to do that at home also. Typically we see patients 2 to 3 times a week.
How do you qualify? Is this something that the doctor, your physician, would get you in, or how does that work?
We get a lot of patients who come from the hospital, and you have to have a doctor's order to have home health, and we get patients from the doctor's office also.
Okay, so it really puts you in your own home environment. That's what I love about home health. Is it you're at home in your own environment, but yet you're still getting great care with the nurses coming by. What about do the patients have a certain nurse that they're assigned to, or how does that work?
We have areas that our nurses are divided into teams, and so there are certain areas that one nurse will work. So she'll manage usually 30 patients at a time in that area. But there may be an occasional instance where a different nurse may have to go out if that nurse schedule is too full for the day.
Right. So this care could be maybe, as you mentioned, IVs, or it could be they just need like a physical therapy part, maybe learning to
Right.
walk again, or
We'll have a lot of hip replacement patients, knee replacement
Oh.
patients who it's difficult for them to get to outpatient physical therapy after that surgery, so they'll get therapy at home for a little while until they're ready.
that's wonderful. What about counties that you serve? How many counties do you serve with Hamilton Home Health?
We service 6 counties: Walker, Dade, Catoosa, Gordon, Murray, and Whitfield.
Okay, so when your doctor gives you that recommendation that you can have home care, you can certainly have Hamilton Home Care take care of you. That's wonderful. I love being the convenience of still being at home, but still getting equal care.
Right.
You know, that's very important. Well, we're going to take a break here in a moment, and we want you to stay with us. We have more to talk with you about and more to share with you about the many services that are provided here at Hamilton Home Health. And we'll be right back with you in just a moment. Well, welcome back again to Lifestyles for Women. As we continue our show today, we are talking about Hamilton Home Health, and with me today to continue that is Amy Carpenter, and she is an RN case manager with Hamilton Home Health. And again, Amy, thank you so much for staying with us and continuing our conversation about Hamilton Home Health. You know, a lot of people have questions when it comes to home health from the standpoint they want to know how long, if I go into home health, if my doctor refers me into home health, or I'm coming out of the hospital, need home health, how long am I going to stay on this?
Well, our main payer source for home health is Medicare. We have a lot of Medicare patients, and we admit a patient to start off with for a 60-day CERT period is what we call them, and we schedule our visits during those 60 days. And depending on what's wrong with the patient, if it's wound care, we're going to keep that patient until the wound is healed. If it is IV antibiotics, we're going to keep that patient until that's done. And it may just be disease teaching, and we'll keep that patient until the goal is met. We don't necessarily have to keep a patient the entire 60 days. We can discharge them at any time, and you know, it's their choice. But Medicare guidelines requires us to admit them for a 60-day CERT period, and at the end of that 60-day, we do a reevaluation, and we can re-CERT them for another CERT period if we need to, or discharge them.
Right. So it's kind of customized, I suppose. I mean,
To
they
each
have that time frame, but they could come off earlier than that if they're
Right.
making a lot of progress. Very good. How does a home health and the doctor stay in touch? How do they follow up? You know, with your own physician.
Right. The patient has to see the doctor 30 days prior to, at least, getting home health. And we do orders when we admit that patient, and those goes to the doctor, and the doctor has to sign off on those orders. So they are aware. Anytime there's any kind of change, we have to call the doctor and let them know. So we're always in constant contact with the doctor's office for that patient.
Right. So you don't really lose your physician, because
Right.
that stays with you. You're just
Right.
there to provide the convenience of them being
At
in a
home.
home. Very good. We talked about some of the areas of reasons why someone would have home health, or it would qualify them. Just in case someone's missed that on the first segment, could you go over that, some of the reasons that people would have or would qualify for home health?
It has to be very difficult for the patient to get out and go to the doctor's office.
Like maybe even a stroke,
Right,
maybe? Or
right.
heart attack?
And it doesn't even have to be that. If it is causing the patient exhaustion or anxiety, we don't want that. And so that can qualify them for homebound. We do require, though, that the patient not drive while they have home health, unless they absolutely have to. We allow, you know, church once a week, or beauty shop. That's important to a lot of patients. And if they live alone and they have to go to the grocery store, that's fine. But as far as being out and about every day, that would not qualify them for home health.
Right. And some of the services I know that you talked about that you provide would be like, well, let's just kind of go over some of the services that would be provided when you're talking about maybe IVs, could be therapy, could be, what are some of the most common things that you see?
We have physical therapists who provide home exercise therapy for patients to help them get stronger. It's not a very aggressive home therapy program, but it does help them get back to their prior state. We have occupational therapists who help patients with maybe better ways of washing their dishes, or taking a shower,
or buttoning
a shirt. And we also have a speech therapist, and she works a lot with stroke patients. She also works with patients who have difficulty swallowing. So it's not just speaking that she helps with. She does a lot of memory therapy also.
Well, so there's a wide variety of services that I think a lot of people may not even recognize that you serve a wide array of services, and sometimes think it's just one or two things, but there's a lot of different things that you cover. When we talk about referrals again for Hamilton Health Care, how would you go about from the standpoint of your doctor referring you into Hamilton Home Health?
Of course, if you're in the hospital, typically it's the doctor who recognizes that the patient is going to need some help at home. On a doctor's visit, if you're going for a monthly B12 injection and it is so difficult to get you there, we can do that at home too. So it's just something you would need to talk to your doctor about.
And again, I think it's important that people realize it's all ages. It's not just senior patients, but I think you mentioned earlier it's as young as children, babies that have had home health. And
with the insurance changes, more people are going home more sick than years ago.
That's true. That's very true. And I think the convenience of it being in your own home also adds to probably the recovery.
It does. People are more comfortable at home than they are in the hospital.
Right, and there's a lot to be said about being at home in your own environment, and helps you mentally.
And you're kind of in charge of your own care.
Right. So. And again, the counties that you serve are what? What counties?
Whitfield, Gordon, Murray, Catoosa, Walker, and Dade.
That's a wide range. And again, if someone would like to know more about Hamilton Home Health, how would they go about, or maybe someone has questions on what we've talked about today, what advice or what telephone number, how would they have the contact for you?
Our phone number is 706-226-2848.
Okay.
Or the majority of the doctor's offices in the area know how to get in touch with us.
Great. Well, Hamilton Home Health is definitely providing a great service for our community and the communities within it. Thank you so much for being with us.
We certainly
appreciate it. And all right, well, coming up next on Lifestyles for Women, we have something that you don't want to miss, some additions to Hamilton Medical Center's team, robots. We'll be right back in just a moment. Well, hi everyone, I'm Judy Elliott, and welcome back again to Lifestyles for Women. We're at Hamilton Medical Center, and we have some exciting news to tell you about. One of the 3 newest additions at Hamilton Medical Center team are robots, and I'm talking about germ zapping robots. And Hamilton is the only hospital in the North Georgia area that has this robot, which is called Xenix germ zapping robots. And here to talk with us about it today is Sherry Hillis, and Sherry is the Director of Infection Prevention at Hamilton Medical Center, and going to tell us a little bit about this exciting addition to Hamilton Medical Center. And thank you so much, Sherry, for being with us here.
No, I'm glad to be here.
Now, I understand there are 3 robots that are here. Tell me the names.
The names of our robots, we had a contest and let our employees name them, and so we had 3 people that won gift cards, and they're Pebbles, Bam Bam, and G2H2.
Okay, very exciting. But what's so exciting is really what is happening here with the robots. First of all, let's talk about what is HAI.
HAI is a hospital-acquired infection, and those are what we don't want patients to get. If a patient comes in here and they're coming in for treatment or surgery, and then they get an infection on top of that, it can be devastating. In fact, CDC, Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, their statistics say in hospitals, 1 in 25 patients that are admitted will get a hospital-acquired infection. And out of those that get them, 1 in 9 will die.
My goodness, that's quite a high statistic there. Tell me a little bit about, can you explain to our listeners how Hamilton is working to decrease those numbers?
We're so excited to have our little robots. What we do when a patient is discharged, you really don't, sometimes we know if a patient has an infection like C. diff or MRSA, but we don't always. Sometimes they're just colonized with them. So after discharge, we go into the room and we do good terminal cleaning. We clean the room meticulously with our germicidal and antiseptic, and then what we do is bring the Xenex, the robot, in. And the robot takes about 15 minutes per room to totally clean the room, and it will kill all microorganisms that are left, the viruses, the endospores, and the bacteria.
Right, and that is quite comforting to know that Hamilton Medical Center has that here, that it has been added, and to be one of the only hospitals in the North Georgia area to have that.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Tell me a little bit about the UV rays, because I know
UV rays, this is an ultraviolet ray from this, and it's called UVC, and it will target the bacterial cell or the virus or the spore, and it will go into them and zap them, what we call zap, but it's really just killing their DNA, their protein inside the cell, or their RNA. So then it won't be able to reproduce or cause infection.
Now, when this happens, does this take a long time in the room, or is it something that really it goes quite detailed in the room, from what I understand you saying?
It is detailed. We do have to have our environmental services people are trained to use it, but we have a process. First of all, you do the general cleaning, and then you remove all of the dirty linens and towels, and really you just open the room up after it's cleaned, and you use the robot in the bathroom, and it takes about 5 minutes to disinfect the bathroom, and then you use it on each side of the bed and make sure that you get all areas that are exposed. It's safe, though. People worry about it, you know, whether it's safe or not.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the question I would ask.
Yeah.
You know, how harmful, or are they harmful, the UVC rays?
The UVC, it's not like UV that we've read about, UVA and UVB, that can be harmful. UVC won't penetrate through glass or through the plastic or through the walls, but it can be damaging if you're in the room with it. So we have a process where we'll take the robot in, and then we walk outside, and there are many safety features, and if somebody, just for instance, even though we have the warning that you don't walk in, there's safety features, so if someone did walk in, it would cut off.
Right. What about, it's so exciting to have this here in the news and all about this. We're glad that we're here to have shown how the robot is actually working. What can you tell me about the infections? Are there other types of infections or any other type of bacteria that it would also zap, so to speak?
It will pretty much get all viruses, all bacteria, and all spores. We're really more concerned about MRSA, that's methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, because we've seen a rise in infections with that, and it can, of course, be devastating, and especially C. difficile. C. diff, for short, is Clostridium difficile, and it's an anaerobe. It lives in the colon, but when it gets outside the colon, in order to protect itself and be able to multiply and cause disease, it will morph into a spore. So I call it the transformer of the microbe world. And it can morph into a spore, and it can stay underneath a bed, underneath a table, underneath something for up to 6 months.
My
So
goodness.
that's why it's so important to kill those.
Wow, this is so exciting, and we're so proud that we had that here at Hamilton Medical Center. The robots have been added to the team here at Hamilton Medical Center, protecting us from germs and the bad bacteria that are out there. So I want to say thank you so much, Sherry, for being with us today. We certainly appreciate you spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you.
And we thank you for being with us here on Lifestyles for Women. Until next time, I'm Judy Elliott. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.